Hey everyone, it's Stratus here again, and I got another Call of Duty World War II weapon history for you. And today it is the FG-42, or the Fallschirmjägergewehr 42. Fallschirmjägergewehr stands for Paratrooper Rifle 42. So there we go, let's jump into it. This is a selective fire automatic rifle, and just as I have griped about any other select fire gun here in Call of Duty World War II, just like the M1940, the M1941 Johnson and the freaking BAR and STG-44. All these guns have select fire options in the real life, but some reason they don't give us that option to use it in Call of Duty multiplayer. But hey, if this was Battlefield, I guarantee you they would let you use select fire. So hey, if we see a Battlefield game come out for World War II in the next couple of releases or something, I guarantee you they'd let us do that. Anyways, this was produced by Nazi Germany during World War II. The weapon was developed specifically for the use by the Fallschirmjäger Airborne Infantry in 1942 and was used in very limited numbers until the end of the war. It combined the characteristics and firepower of a light machine gun in a lightweight form no larger than the standard issue Kar 98K bolt-action rifle. Well, I actually didn't know that. That's pretty nice. And is considered one of the most advanced weapon designs for World War II. The FG-42 influenced post-war small arms development, and most of its design was copied by the U.S. Army when they developed the M60 machine gun. Also very interesting, did not know that. And that kind of makes sense because it does kind of look like a cross between an assault rifle and a light machine gun in some respects. Like in many, some cases it looks like a mini MG-42. So this is an automatic rifle, or is one of the earliest battle rifles that came out. Again, it came from Nazi Germany. It was produced, or it was in service from 1942 to 1945. And it only saw use in World War II and Vietnam War, which is very interesting because most other rifles in Call of Duty World War II have been used in many wars, but this one was only used in 2. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but the designer, I believe, was Louis Stange, or if it was German, Stenge. I don't know. And it was designed in somewhere between 1941 and 1942. And the manufacturer was Rheinmetall Heinrich Kriegshoff Waffenfabrik, L.O. Dietrich. And it was actually produced from 1943 to 1945. There were 3 variants. You had the early model, which is the very first one that you see, where it looks a little bit more skinny, lighter weight, and everything like that. And then you have the Rheinmetall Bossig design, which I don't know what that looks like. I couldn't find it or anything. And then you have the late model, which is the Krieghoff revision, which is the bigger, fatter, heavier looking version of it. I guess that might have helped reduce recoil a little bit. I don't know. So for the weight of this, when it is completely loaded and stuff, it is 4.95 kilograms or 10.9 pounds. So this is on par with some of the other rifles that we see, with the exception of the M1A1 carbine. So it's, it's not much heavier or anything. The cartridge is a 7.92 by 57 millimeter Mauser. It is gas operated rotating bolt, so that's very similar to a lot of other automatic rifles at the time. It could shoot about 900 rounds per minute depending on the variant. Another variant could shoot about 750 rounds per minute. So despite what they show in Call of Duty, this is actually a very fast firing weapon. It's more of to the level of what you saw in Call of Duty World at War. Because for whatever reason in Call of Duty World War II, it shoots slower. It's more like a tap a gun instead of a brrr like it was in World at War. Because I mean, that thing sounded just like a PPSH, but with a much smaller magazine. It had an effective range of about 600 meters, with a muzzle velocity of 740 meters per second. So this is actually a slightly slower firing bullet than we have seen with other guns, but it's also a little bit heavier of a round as well. And it would come with a 10 to 20 round detachable box magazine. and then these typically had iron sights, but they would come with a small scope. It is known as the ZF-4 scope. Anyways, let's go in and talk a little bit about this gun. So for the history of this gun, at the Battle of Crete, Operation Mercury, the German Fallschirmjäger paratroop infantry were equipped with the same assortment of small arms as the Heer, carrying only pistols and hand grenades on them during parachute jumps. Wow. That is crazy. With submachine guns, rifles, and crew-served weapons stored separately in containers that were dropped from the wing of the exit craft. So, yeah, they did end up having other stuff other than just handguns and grenades, but would you really feel comfortable with somebody shooting at you while you're parachuting down and all you had was a pistol and maybe a grenade to chunk at them? No. The German parachute harness with a single strap attached to the body, making the paratrooper land on his hands and knees in a forward roll, did not allow for heavier equipment such as rifles and machine guns to be safely carried during jump. At Crete, long-range rifle and machine gun fire from Belgian Commonwealth defenders inflicted heavy casualties on the outgunned German paratroopers in the early stages of battle as they attempted to retrieve their support weapons from containers scattered all over the battlefield. These combat experiences demonstrated the need for a rifle that could be carried on the person of a paratrooper. In 1941, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, requested a selective fire handheld weapon for the paratroopers. Senior Staff Air Secretary Ossenbach of the LG/C Erprobungsstelle 6 GLC E6 Luftwaffe's weapon development branch of Harnewitz near Lübeck was approached informally to develop the special new weapon. And now, sorry for butchering all these names and everything, but I took 3 years of German in high school, so I do know how to pronounce some of this stuff, but it's been a while, so I'm a little bit rusty, so I apologize for butchering these German words. The Reich Air Ministry, the Reichsluftfahrtministerium, or RLM, sought to develop a universal shoulder-fired automatic rifle that could replace the bolt-action rifle, submachine gun, and light machine gun in their air assault role. The proposed weapon will also simplify logistics and provide greater firepower to the individual paratrooper. So it sounds like the 10-round magazine could be used as a regular assault rifle, and then the select fire portion of this gun would be used to replace like a bolt action rifle, and then the 20-round magazines could be used to replace and act as a submachine gun / light machine gun. So they basically made the FG-42 to be an all-purpose weapon. It's supposed to be able to do a lot of different things for just one gun. And I kind of felt like you got a little bit more of that sense of being an all-purpose weapon in Call of Duty World at War, because with that higher fire rate and everything, you could just completely melt somebody up close as if it were a machine gun, versus in Call of Duty World War II, where it shoots a little slower and it's more effective at medium to long ranges, because when you're up close with that slower fire rate, you can get killed pretty easily by a submachine gun, unless you have rapid fire on. Then you have a little bit more competition. So now that I've gone over some of the history of this gun, there's definitely a lot more to go and talk about this gun. You could talk about this gun for easily another hour, just because there's so much history about this gun, but I don't want to make this video too terribly long, and I want to talk about my personal feelings when it came to using this gun. So what do I think about this gun? Well, it's one of those guns that, at least before the nerf and the buff that they just recently put out for Call of Duty World War II, I loved using this gun because it destroyed. It was basically a 2-shot kill most of the time, sometimes a 3-shot kill, but it was very effective at medium ranges to long ranges just because it had a little bit slower of a fire rate. And for me, I loved the iron sights on this thing. It worked very well for me. The 3 attachments I would put on there, because typically if you're going to be using a rifle, I feel like you're almost always going to be using infantry, and if you are not, it's probably worth using the primed perk to be able to have an extra attachment on there. But the 3 attachments that I really recommend for this is, first of all, rapid fire. So that way you're bringing up the fire rate of the gun and you're able to get it out a little bit more, because the recoil isn't god-awful with rapid fire, but it still does not shoot as fast as it does in Call of Duty World at War, but it does shoot faster than what it does currently, and that definitely helps. Trust me, you're going to be killing people pretty quick with this gun. Also, have foregrip on there, so that way you can reduce recoil because of that rapid fire, but also just because it does have higher amounts of recoil, just because it does a lot of damage. And then the last attachment would be extended mags. That way, instead of just having a 20 round magazine, you're having a 30 round magazine. And that's just, for me, I personally like to have extended mags, just that way I'm not having to reload quite as often. But if you did not want extended mags, you could rock a sight or a little scope on there, because you may not like the iron sights. I love them. I think that they're great, but you may not like them. You may not feel the same way. But overall, this gun is very effective. It does not have too much recoil considering the damage. It does need to have a little bit faster fire rate, so that's why I recommend rapid fire. And this is just a gun that you're going to like. It looks great. It's very unique. It has a lot of history and use for it during World War II. It's a very iconic weapon from World War II. It's just a fun gun to use, in my opinion. And it's really not that hard to use. Like, I feel like anybody could use that. And for me personally, I prefer using the FG-42 over the BAR. Please be sure to leave a like, and also let me know what you think of the FG-42. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I want to know. So be sure to comment down below, because I'm interested in what y'all have to say. And if you would not mind, please be sure to subscribe and click on that bell icon, so that way you can get notifications of future Call of Duty weapon history content and maybe some other things sprinkled in there. I hope that y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.